on Thursday, February 12th. I'm sitting here with Smart Flippers owner and CEO Jeff Duhon. Jeff, appreciate you joining me.
Glad to be here, man.
What are you eating? Yeah, I don't know.
Uh, well, what you call these things? Like
Giggles.
Skittles,
Okay.
like
Sounds like
like
sugar death.
tart Skittles. Yeah,
I think you need to have a conversation with someone called
they're
the
organic
Diabetic
though.
Influencer, and we'll chat about that after. But hey, so for those of you who don't know, obviously, as me, Joey Matterhorn is the brand I created. I created it on the episode 5 or season 5, episode 19 of How I Met Your Mother. There was an episode called The Playbook, and the Lorenzo von Matterhorn was created by Barney to pick up girls. He basically created this online persona of himself. So when someone Googled his name, it was a unique name. It showed up right away, and it was easy to find. That 2-minute sketch actually explained more about search engine marketing and reputation management more than anything that I'd ever seen. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be Joey Matterhorn because Lorenzo von Matterhorn ain't got nothing on me. And we kind of laughed about it. I was like, you know what? That's a stupid ass name, but it's easily brandable. So I literally started Joey Matterhorn, and in 30 days, we dominated the entire search term. The reason I'm telling that story preface wise is because as we are helping people make money online, Jeff has graciously decided to kind of partner with us and bring his course, Smart Flippers, outside of the Joey Matterhorn family and inside the Joey Matterhorn family. So if you're a Joey Matterhorn subscriber, member, things of that nature, you now have access to Jeff. And this specific session is a question and answer session about Smart Flippers specifically. You see, guys, right now, this is my opinion. Jeff, you can agree or disagree with me if you want to, but it is very hard to find a job right now in the world, a job that pays well, a job that's going to pay you enough money. You'd probably have to make $90,000 a year to survive, which is $45 an hour or something like that. There's not that many $45 an hour jobs. After you take taxes, you're down to 65,000, maybe 70. Rent, family, kids, all that stuff. If you are self-employed and you can create through different side hustles your own streams of income, you get tax advantages, tax deductions, and you can limit the amount of taxes that you pay. And whether you want to create a website and drive traffic to it, like we teach at Joy Matterhorn, or you want to do what Jeff does and you want to do a completely side hustle, which he's turned his side hustle not only into a full-time hustle, but he's going to show you how to do it. And that's we talked about that earlier this week on Monday. But today I got questions and answers. I gathered up a whole bunch of questions from people on Monday, Jeff, and I'm going to shoot them at you one at a time. So you ready?
Yeah, it works. Let's
Okay,
go.
cool. The first person asked, do you need a website to actually do smart flipping?
No, no, you don't need one at all. You're you're using the different social platforms where people list stuff for sale, to either list stuff for sale yourself or to buy the items that you're buying to flip.
Okay. So to add on to that question, the first thing that came to my mind was, would a website help you? I mean, you don't need one, but if you actually had like a resale website, would that get you more sales, or is it pretty much irrelevant?
Um, I guess it could. I have one that I don't use,
Okay.
and it in theory it was to be used. So, for example, the idea was people when they want to sell me a phone, for example, they go to my website, they get a quote, they get a price, all that, they schedule a meetup, all these things. Yeah, the average person that's going to sell you a phone, they don't want to do all that. They just want to find like what's the number, what's the address, they want to show up and they want to sell you the phone. You start trying to involve fancy things that are just like another step, that a lot of times what happens is you create things that are easier for you, but it's like maybe another step for them. And so getting compliance is almost impossible.
Interesting. Okay. So it sounds like not only would it not help you, it could possibly or most likely hurt you.
I don't know. It would hurt you if you were trying to like ram it down people's throats. Like if you were trying to force them to schedule an appointment to come meet you, and that was one thing. Being married, my wife was like, "Why can't they schedule an appointment with you?" It's like, look, it's hard enough to get them to show up in the first place. So if they want to show up, I gotta go when they go, and then I transform that into like, okay, Now I have places where they can drop stuff off and they can show up whenever the hell they want, assuming we're open, which is a lot of hours, like 10 to 8, and they've got a set location. Um, and so that can be actually like a hard part of this business is getting people to show up when you actually want them to show up on your schedule. Because if they have a good deal, well, then it's a good deal for someone else too, and maybe
Mhm.
they're willing to make more concessions than you're trying to make.
Okay, so interesting. So let me ask you this then to piggyback off that, because one of the next questions that was asked is going to kind of go into this. Like, so you do this full time, so you can meet people anywhere, anytime. But those people that have a job, do you, is it okay to have people come to their job to sell stuff because they're there for 8 hours, for example?
Yeah.
And if a person shows up at 1 or 1:30 or 2, it really doesn't matter. They can just say, "Hey, is John there?" John can come out and meet them in the conference room, and the sale can happen. So, did anybody ever go to someone's work to drop stuff off and sell stuff?
I've had people like they don't tell them, "Hey, come here and ask for me," because I think that would be a mistake. What they do is they say, "Meet me in this or that parking lot or right out front of, XYZ spot that's right next to their work." And so, most people that I've taught this that do have a job, they're maybe not their boss, but they are perfectly fine and okay to say, "I'll be back in 5 minutes," and they go ahead and they go sell whatever that item is, and then they go back to work.
Okay,
Which, I
but to
mean,
come in and say,
people
"I'm
take
sorry."
breaks all the time. People take whatever, smoke breaks or snack breaks, and so, yeah, if one time a day or 2 times a day, you're going out to the parking lot to sell something for 5 minutes and you're getting your work done otherwise, yeah, you're fine. As a matter of fact, it makes it when you have something on the side like that, it makes it that much easier to stay dialed in with your work because you know you've got some extra income coming in, and,
Gotcha.
makes you a lot less miserable, assuming you are miserable at the job you're at, which is, I don't know. I gotta believe most people.
Yeah, it's funny. So, I think that there was as this is a little bit of a off tangent type thing, but people never used to marry for love. You married because your families were merging
Yeah,
land and politics and all this other stuff, and the dads picked who the daughters and kids were going to marry, and they promised them to each other.
right.
Love just came into it in the past, whatever, 100 years, and of course, what's happened in the last 100 years, we kind of screwed it up. And I'm just joking about the fact that now that we've been given choice and we're doing things for the love reason, that's it's a little bit different. And I'm kind of bringing that up because when you look at jobs, so many people nowadays want to find a job that they love. And
Mhm,
I don't know any job I ever loved. My job paid the bills, and if I felt stimulated, it was cool. But I always wanted to do my own thing.
mhm,
So I bet you, if you actually surveyed people, I would say most people's answers would be, I don't love what I do, or maybe I love what I do as much as I can because I this is all my options are. I can't, I'm not a self-employed person. I got to work somewhere, and this is the best of hell I can find. Because I always ask my employees, "Hey, you guys happy here?" And most of them say, "Yeah." I don't know if they're saying yeah because I own the business, or I don't know if they're saying yeah because they really like. I try to make it stimulating and enjoyable because we live in a stressful industry. It's always changing, and it's one day we're slow, and next day we're slammed.
right.
But I really wonder how many people really like their job. I would think 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
I would have to guess. So it's funny that you said that. So this actually adds, hey, if I can make $200 by someone coming to buy or sell a cell phone or a video game, they come to my work. Not only are you doubling up on time because you don't have to take your own personal time after work, it seemed that to me would be a fantastic way to do this as a side hustle. If you sold 1 or 2 things a day, you
Oh,
could
yeah.
almost replace your income
Right.
if you were able to buy it and sell it at the same time. So that's just
Yeah.
really an interesting thought. For those of you who have a desk job or a job or retail job, you could tell people, "Hey, I work up here, come up here." Your boss might kind of go, "What's going on?" And you just have to explain it to them. "Hey, listen, I'm doing this for extra money because you don't pay me enough," or whatever you'd want to say. Just make sure you're not, scamming your employer. Take your time off, sign out, do the things that to be respectful to your employer. But yeah, so
Yeah.
people do actually come up and actually go to places of work to buy and sell stuff. That's great. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and, I was gonna say, yeah, if you're doing if you're going to be at work, then you do a really good job there, then you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Think about it. You're an employer yourself. If you had an employee that was like always on time or early, always doing a great job, making you a ton of money. And did I get am I on?
You know
Okay.
what? I don't know what just happened there, but I didn't go anywhere. I think Edgar did something on the back
Okay.
end.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if you have somebody that's crushing it for you, but chances are they're also gonna be, like, a little kooky as well, and you're okay with that because when they're here, they're really killing it, and yeah, maybe they need a break, or maybe they have, like, some surprise thing that they have to get done. uh, you're a lot more lenient with that person because you're like, "Yeah, sure, dude, take care of what you gotta take care of. Because I know when you're here, you're kicking butt." And, so that's something I used to do too as well, because I was always side hustling at work, and, or I just didn't like their rules, and so I just wouldn't follow them, but I would make them money, and I would work really hard, and, so anyway, your job will be a lot more lenient, and it's a lot easier to to go hard for your job because you're like, "Okay." Then you start having it in perspective. Yeah, I'm making $100 a day at my job, but I'm only making 50 side hustling. My job is actually my best client. And I tell people this all the time. I used to hate on people that had jobs, and it's so dumb. I'm obviously remorseful for being that person, but um if you have a job, that's your current best client. Like, do a great job for them. And yeah, maybe one day you have these dreams and aspirations of going somewhere else, but keep that for as long as you can until you can very securely replace whatever that is. You know,
Interesting.
don't be
Okay.
like me.
Good shit. Okay, so next question. Does anybody allow you to buy and sell things by things other than cash? Like, in other words, could you send someone Venmo? Do you send someone PayPal? Or do you deal strictly in cash?
No, no,
Because,
no.
like, if they're
Yeah, we
there
do
in
all
front
that.
of you, I'm sorry?
Yeah, we do all that. Um, yeah, really, when you start reselling, you almost have to sign up for everything. So I've got like Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App. Some people wish I had Chime, but I'm not on Chime. But anyway, all those like different pay apps plus cash, they're all relevant. There's there's some buyers that are like, no, cash only. Those a lot of times are the bigger resellers, maybe because they're buying in cash also. So if you pay them Wire or Cash App or something like that, then they're gonna have to like put that to their bank and then remove the cash. So you're making an extra step or two for them. But yeah, most people are pretty flexible there. Thank God, because
Hmm.
I'm doing deals all over the place in different areas, different cities, and I don't have to show up personally to any of them anymore. And a lot of times, like, it's way more convenient to just send them, Cash App or Venmo or something like that.
Interesting. Okay. Um, I have another thing that I'm running over on, so I'm going to tell them we'll be done in about 10 minutes. I only got like 3 or 4 more questions for you.
Okay.
Well, whether it's cash, whether it's Venmo, whether it's this, and you said something there I have to piggyback off of though, because you said I don't even have to go anymore. What does that mean? Like, in other words, if you Venmo them money, how do you get the product?
Well, after doing this for about a year and a half and showing up to every deal personally, um, I decided, okay, I'm not gonna go to any more deals anymore. I'm
Okay.
going to only well, I still go to deals so I can make content, but I um I don't have to go to them, and so what I did is I hit up either old customers that I really trusted and liked, or I hit up friends and family, and I had them go to the deal for me, and I'd either give them cash or I'd line up the payment ahead of time as far as, like, how the payment would go down, assuming the deal went down. And, I have drop-off locations in multiple cities of other cell phone stores, and those cell phone stores would take pretty much anything. Like, I guess if I wanted to, I could have them drop off some other random item, and I have done that before. Um, and so, yeah, I just made it to where I don't have to actually show up. There's a safety benefit, like, I don't have to worry about people in public messing with me, which I've never had that happen, but, you hear stories.
Yeah,
Um
absolutely.
And, it's very uncommon in the non I hate to say this, but it's not common in the non-phone flip niche. In the phone flip niche, It's still not common, but if it was going to happen, it'd be in like the electronics niche is where people tend to like get a little crazy. But I mean, tend to meaning like one out of, I don't know, 1,000. It's like very, very uncommon. So
Okay.
anyway, yeah, I have drop off locations. I have people I call runners. I don't show up. I don't have to show up for any more deals anymore.
That's wonderful, dude. Question on that then. So there is a so one of the brands that we were starting up basically off of this flipping concept was the diabetic influencer. And that was for the diabetic supplies, but I wanted to create enough content and trust that if somebody ever Googled the diabetic influencer, they would go, "Oh, this guy's coming to buy my stuff," or someone from this company. It's not some random dude. I see these people, I know these people, I
Yeah.
can read about them. So it sounds like, and I'm just throwing this out there because we talked earlier about a website maybe not necessarily being important, but you have enough experience where people trust you because of your previous experiences with them.
Mhm.
And other people that may refer to you are going to be, "Hey, Jeff's a great guy. He'll, you won't have any problem with him." I'm wondering if a flipping, for lack of a better term, website or reputation around your brand would actually help new people with, "Hey, I don't necessarily know this person, but I Googled them and they have a great trust score, a seller score, of
Yeah.
this or that. They're accessible. I can get to them. I know where they work." I don't know. Does that help at all? Would that help at all? I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, it depends on it's lead generation specific. So if I'm reaching out to somebody to buy something they've listed, then it's different. Pretty much reputation doesn't matter. You're just another person that's on Facebook Marketplace. So that doesn't help at all. Actually, it almost like in a way it almost hurts you for you to be a flipper because then there's like, oh, they're gonna try to like negotiate with me and they're just making money on this, and it's almost a negative thing. But on the other side, if you're generating leads, then yeah, it's very helpful to have a presence.
Interesting.
So I
Okay.
for somebody to call me and want to sell me a phone or some other item, and for me to say, yeah, bring it by the shop, the
Mhm.
shop versus like, yeah, meet me in a parking lot somewhere. I have like a lot better credibility saying the shop or meet me at this. Here's the location. I have a little bit more of a leverage point there by sending them to an actual commercial location. But when it comes to finding deals and like reaching out to people the other way around, it's almost the opposite. So it just depends on how you're generating the lead.
Okay. All right. Good shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. One of the next questions was, what is the target price of items you would want to buy or sell? Are you trying to find things that are $400 and sell them for 600? Or are you trying to find a whole bunch of 20s that you can sell for 30? Or is it all over the place? Or is there something that you focus on? Or, tell us about that.
So with phones, the always like the most profitable phone is going to be last year's model. And so yeah, so I'll get I don't know, there's something about like offering someone $500 for something that just it seems like way more than offering them $400 even though it's simple math, it's $100 difference. Um but let's say the 17 Pro Max is out now and I can still get $700 for the 16 Pro Max. I can offer immediately I can start offering $500 right now and make $200 on that phone. But it might be 6 months later and the price of the 16 Pro Max has come down $100 and I still generally can't offer less than $500 for that same phone. Um, and so there's some psychological stuff to it. But if you're new at this, I would say in like the $100 to $300 range is a good place to start for flipping phones. So not too much risk. Not a lot of risk of them wanting to report it lost or stolen. So you have flexibility if you want to resell it locally to somebody, if you want to sell it to a family member. Um, you have a lot. It's a lot safer to sell it however you want. You can sell it on eBay as like good to go and not have to worry about like 2 months from now, the person hitting you back saying, hey, like the phone doesn't work anymore. And I went to my carrier and they said it got reported lost or stolen. Right.
Okay.
So yeah, like the medium price range, I would say is like the best place to start. For me, it was months before I went to trying to buy like either new phones, the newest model, or even yeah, pretty much like it was months before I started buying the newest model because there was so much money involved, you know, six, seven, $800 and not
Okay.
knowing enough about it or not having enough personal experience with it to trust that it was going to be okay.
Okay. Now, if you're selling items like video games or anything like that, do you go after, um, I guess I don't necessarily know the reseller market. So, like, would a video game console, a used console, sell for $200 or buy for $200? Do you, or are those the 20, 30, 40, $50 things? And I guess what I'm asking is do you try to focus on bigger end items or smaller end items? I guess that's what they're asking.
Oh,
Because smaller end items, there's more of them and more people can buy them and more people can sell them, but are they worth it?
yeah. Well, so if we're talking about phones, anytime the phone drops under $100, you it's almost impossible to buy the phone. People don't want to show up for less than $100.
Okay.
But when it comes to, let's say if I'm doing the local retail arbitrage where I'm buying new items and selling them locally, then yeah, you're gonna have you can sell a way higher volume of lower priced stuff because you as a seller is happy to meet somebody for a $50 sale or an $80 sale and you're making 30, $40.
So during COVID, and this is another question, like one person said, should you rent a storage unit for this? And I've had I've different flippers I've met. Some say yes, some say no. It depends on how big you get. But I remember very vividly during COVID, there was a guy near my house who went on Facebook Marketplace and posted hundreds of items or however many he could before Facebook Marketplace would slow him down or pause him or whatever. And he would say, "Come, to this. Come to the. Don't message me. Come to this location between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night." What would happen is he was a storage unit. He'd open the doors and he'd open up his thing and he would have 40, 50 people walking through his storage unit. And I was
Dang.
like, man, that's a great idea. So he would buy it. He would spend all day going to buy stuff and then he would run ads and send people to his storage unit. And he had a really nice setup. Like he did it really nice. He had music playing, he had stuff outside the storage center. So that, like, in other words, like as people were walking in, they would walk by the stuff and they
Yeah.
would, and then they
Maybe
couldn't
you
leave.
want something else, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a
Also,
grocery store. You walk through, oh, there's a candy bar right in front of the cashier. That's why you buy candy bars, right? And
yep.
so, did you? Has anyone ever had success doing that you know of, or do
Yeah.
you? Okay, so in other words, like a storage unit was $200. This guy, instead of, and what he did, this was this guy's side hustle. So let me kind of explain it. He would go buy stuff up from people, and he would take it to the storage unit, and he would work a day job from 9 to 5, and then on the way home from 6 to 8, he would show up there. He would let everybody in, and he made more money from 6 to 8 than he did on his job. But he
Mhm.
was older and needed insurance and had been there a long time. He didn't want to quit. He was just like, yeah, this is fantastic. And he did it 3 nights a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday was the nights that people could show up 6 to 8. And then what
Right.
ended up happening was it kind of mushroomed into people at work. Well, I'll sell you my stuff, or I'll do it on consignment. You sell it, we'll split it. And next thing you know, so we filled up this entire storage place with shelves, and they would just put stuff on the shelf. And as people walked out, it was a store. It literally was a store in a
Yeah.
storage facility of used things that. And we bought a bunch of stuff from there, a bunch of paintings, a little carpet. It was really cool. So
That's
people
awesome.
can do that. I mean, it's only $200 a month for the storage facility, but this guy was obviously, buying a lot. I guess I'm asking you, Jeff, more than this, like anything, like you going to buy the stuff seems a lot easier than waiting for someone who's trying to buy from you, because you are in control of going to buy the stuff because it's your time and the person's waiting for you. They've already said that. Sure, you're going to show up, 10% of the time they've already sold to someone else or they're not there.
Yeah.
But do you find it easier buying than selling?
I find like the personality of most resellers is we want to hunt things down. We don't like we want to hunt deer. We don't want to have to clean the deer.
Ah, good
And
analogy.
yeah, like we want to just shoot it and go find a new deer and let somebody else deal with that crap. Um, and
Okay.
so yeah, so in that way it's hard. Like there's times where I'm like, I need to like list these products, and I'm like, I'll sit on it for a week or two, and the products will just sit around. Um, so yeah, there was a time where I had somebody like actually like take all my pictures and list everything for me. But the
No
question
kidding.
you were asking is, so the hard part with what you're saying, the model of what that guy was doing, is that next thing you know, you need like 5 storage units.
Okay.
Also, those places don't necessarily like 40, 50 people showing up in a
They sure
it's
don't.
usually gated with the code and stuff like that. So, yeah, he was doing it at 6 to 8, even if he didn't have a job, he's probably wise to do it at 6 to 8 also because the people that worked there weren't working at that time. And,
Okay.
yeah, what he would do is he would hit up, people doing estate sales and just buy out whatever they didn't sell, and he'd buy it for next to nothing and just go pick it up. And then, so he's getting a lot of free stuff, a lot of stuff for next to nothing. And yeah, people would come over for one thing, and then all of a sudden he'd open up 3 or 4 different units, and they'd walk through all of them, and they would buy multiple things from multiple places. And, it was okay, but I mean, around here, I don't know, it's a long story, but we're not in contact anymore, let's just say that. And, so I don't know what came of it, like, I don't know how far he took it or but I know that he was, like very quickly it became a thing where he needed, like, an actual big, like, a big warehouse where he could put all his stuff. Because like, a 10 by 30, I mean, that fills up quick, dude. When it especially fills up quick when it comes to needing enough space to walk around and be able to have lanes and be able to stay organized. I think the organizing part of it was like really, really labor intensive. And so that can get kind of expensive too.
Okay, cool, man. Well, listen, Jeff, thanks for joining me today, man. Every single Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, 2 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Mountain, noon Pacific. If you bought Jeff's course or you didn't buy Jeff's course, we're going to go over questions and answers, and we're going to go through all the different things for flipping. And again, the devil's in the details, and the things that make the course invaluable are the things that we haven't talked about. But if you want any information on Jeff's course, you can simply go to smartflippers.com, or if you go to the Joey Matterhorn website, you can navigate and find Smart Flippers, and we'll tell you all about it. But Jeff, hey, thanks for joining me, bud, and we will talk to you Monday.
Okay. Later, man.